Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hey, my name is Shantel, and this is Vlogmas Day 20. Oh my goodness, that's insane. I can't believe we only have basically 5 days left until Christmas if you fully count today. That's just, I'm so excited. I want to start a new series. I think this will be really fun. I'm gonna call it Car Chats. So basically it's me talking about a certain subject, obviously always pertaining to books or reading, booktube in general, something like that. And this is the first episode, if you will. And basically I want to talk about some of the books that intimidate me. So I do have quite a few books on my shelves that are daunting to me for an array of reasons, whether that's because they're really long, or because I think maybe they're overhyped, or maybe they just have a lot of trauma in them and stuff, and so I find them kind of daunting to read. I want to discuss some of those with you. I picked out 5 in particular that I think will be something that you guys can either relate to, or they're very popular, so you guys can convince me to read them if you have read them yourself. So the first one is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This book is about 2 sisters in war-torn German-occupied France. I believe one, if not both the sisters, is a nurse, but I could be wrong with that. But I'm daunted about this one because I feel like a lot of people say that it's very sad and it's not necessarily a happy ending, which is reality because obviously it's World War II, right? Most books don't end up with a full happy ending because it's war and it's death and it's just devastation and families are torn apart and everything, right? And so I understand that, but also that just scares me. And I love books on World War II, books about the Civil War, books about just like people's everyday lives while war is going on. I like the perspective of soldiers too. I have read a few of those, but I just like hearing like the actual people that have lived through those kind of things. Hearing their perspectives and their experiences is, 1, super important, and 2, just so interesting because I, God forbid, have never experienced that, you know? So whether it's fiction or it's a autobiography or a biography, I just think that those are really important. And yeah, but the Nightingale definitely does intimidate me, and it was given to me by a friend, so I really need to read it just so I can text her and be like, hey, I finally read it. But yeah, so that's the first one. The second one is actually Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I like Brandon Sanderson, okay? This isn't like, oh, I'm scared to start Brandon Sanderson, because I have I'm working my way through Tress right now. I've read Skyward. I need to read the rest of the series, but I loved the first book, gave it 5 stars. I adored the Reckoners series trilogy when I was a teenager. That was the first books from Brandon Sanderson that I read, what got me into Brandon Sanderson. And yeah, so I know he writes really well, and I know that his books are always pretty much 5 stars. I have not read a book from him, I think, that I made lower than 5 stars. And I think that's one of the reasons why Mistborn does intimidate me, is because they all are such high ratings on my own. So like talking myself out of it and into it at the same time. But yeah, so this one is basically about a street urchin. She is living on the streets or something or other, and she is a part of a uprising that is trying to take over or take control back from the Lord Ruler, who is this I'm not sure if he's like a mystical being or what exactly he is, but he like saved civilization after this hero failed to save civilization, and it's like he rose up and took over and control, but he's kind of like this evil dictator. I think hopefully I'm explaining this well. This is kind of what the back blurb said, so that's all I know about it, is what the back blurb said. But so yeah, that one, it sounds really good, but then also if I start Mistborn, then I'm gonna have to finish the trilogy. If I finish the trilogy, then I'm gonna have to read the other at least 6 or 7 books, maybe even more. I think there's more than that in that world and stuff. I think there's actually closer to 9 or 10, and that's so many books to add to my TBR. So I'm excited for it, but also, oh, maybe not. But the third one is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. I have heard so much about the Boys of Tommen series. I've heard people say that they absolutely love it. I've heard people say that they didn't like it, that it was cringe. I've heard people say that they thought that it was a little too like trauma dumpy and stuff for a teenage series, but I'm pretty sure it's actually 18 plus because of all the elements of trauma and stuff that happen in those books and the like heavier topics that are discussed. So don't quote me on that, but I'm like 99% sure it's actually rated like plus 18 because of some of the heavy topics that are discussed in that book series. But that's one that definitely intimidates me because I know it is very beloved, and one, it's not even completed yet, so I don't feel the need to rush into it right away because I know I have time. But also, I do really want to read it because I want to be a part of what everyone else loves. But yeah, I don't know. I need someone to talk me into reading it. I kind of want to read it next year. And then if I read the first one and I absolutely love it and if I give it 4.5 or higher stars, then I will go out and buy the second and the sequels basically. But if I don't love it, then I'm gonna make myself wait until 2027. So I had to go back to work, and then now I'm done for the day. So this is we had a brief intermission, but now we're continuing on. So yeah, for the Boys of Tommen series, I just feel a little intimidated by the length of the series, how much people love it, and then the fact that I know that it's gonna be super heavy and it's gonna have a lot of like really heartbreaking moments. So I'm like, ooh, scary. But I am excited to read it. I will read it eventually. And then I have The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros. Okay. This book actually, it has a trope in there that I already know is gonna be just so brutal, and I'm pretty sure I already know what happens in that trope. Like, it will be okay, but getting there is gonna be really, really heavy. I have personally had a lot of family members pass away because of that trope, and I don't do well when it's put in media kind of like willy-nilly. I feel like a lot of times it's just like, let's put in there because the character needs a traumatic backstory, so they're like, oh, what can we put in there that's traumatic? And it's that, or it's like assault. And I don't know, so I'm hoping that it's done with a lot of care. It probably will be. I'm probably just overthinking it. I mean, there's tons and tons of people I've heard that absolutely just love The Last Letter, and that they said that it was one of their favorite books of all time, and that it did a lot of like healing and stuff for them and everything. And so I know that it's very beloved and that it has helped a lot of people work through things when it comes to that. So I'm just hoping that it doesn't trigger anything in me reading it like that. I probably will cry, which is totally fine. I'm not a big sad book kind of person. I don't like reading sad books just to be sad. I don't think as a Christian that is something I should want or look forward to. Like, I mean, if I'm already in my feels and I listen to a sad song and then I move on, okay, that's one thing. But like reading a book just to be sad, so I'm like, I'd rather pray personally, but that's my own humble opinion. But yeah, I don't know, that's one that intimidates me, I think, because I know that is a trope in that book. I don't want to say it because I think that's technically a spoiler. But then my last one is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. And I started the movie. I forget who the actress is in that movie. I forget what her name is. I feel like she's pretty well known. But I don't think I ever finished that movie. And I kind of already know what happens. Like, I mean, the book's been out for 200 years or so. I'm probably a little less than that, but I don't know what year it was actually written. But, you know, it's been a while, so it's not something that I can be like, oh, well, I don't know, and no one spoil it for me, because, like, girl, it's been 200 years. But yeah, I think that book is intimidating. One, because it's a classic, and classics just generally are sometimes more daunting to read, or they can be wordy sometimes with, like, I don't mind description, and I don't mind, like, detailed description. I think someone who does that really, really well is C.S. Lewis or J.R.R. Tolkien. Both do that in a very beautiful way without it being like, oh, you know. So, yeah, but I haven't read a Charlotte Bronte before. I haven't read Emily Bronte either. I do want to read Wuthering Heights, even though I say that, but I actually don't really like the plot of Wuthering Heights. It kind of makes me roll my eyes. I'm not a big fan of, like, where the book ends and it's not necessarily a happy ending and it's just to make you think kind of thing. I'm like, okay, we already have reality. We already live in a world that sucks. Why would I want my people to be happy? Why wouldn't you want your characters to be happy? You know, and I know that everyone and their mother is going to be so excited over the Wuthering Heights movie with Margot Robbie in it. And I think Jacob Elordi is playing Heathcliff and stuff, which is those two people cast as Heathcliff and Catherine is, like, diabolical. I'm sorry. I don't care if you love either of those people. Them as those particular characters is a travesty. So sorry. They literally could have picked anyone else, but they had to pick those two people because they're just popular right now. Like, bring in some new faces, y'all. Seriously. Anyway, sorry. All that to say, I'm intimidated to read Jane Eyre, mostly because I already know part of the plot, and I was not a huge fan of Rebecca because of that plot. So it's like Jane Eyre already has that, you know. I'm like, ugh. I just don't like books where it's like, yeah, they're technically cheating, but like, you know, for me, that's very much a black and white issue, and it literally takes no effort not to cheat. I don't care if your wife or whatever is in the attic and she's insane. I know it's a spoiler. We've had 200 years, girl. But yeah, like, I don't really care if she's, you know, like, literally not mentally there and she's a very unwell person. That's not an excuse. And I know that he is very much one of those characters that he's romanticized, but also, like, people don't like his character. I know he's supposed to be a character that you battle with and you kind of like, ooh, you wrestle with his morals because you're like, ooh, I know that he's not necessarily a good person, and he, you know, allegedly maybe has this daughter and stuff. We don't know if that's his daughter or not, technically, kind of thing, you know, it all. So, I don't know. I go back and forth on whether that's a book that I actually want to ingest or not. Mostly because I'm like, one, I don't like sad books or books that make me really cry. I don't like books that don't necessarily have happy endings, and I don't like any form of cheating tropes at all. So, like, if it's a romance book and it's in the beginning and she moves on and she doesn't get with the person that cheated on her, whatever, okay? That I understand. It's a plot point to get her from point A to point B. I understand that. But, like, if the main love interest is someone like that, that's immediate DNF. Because they don't love you. Sorry. Not saying they can't be forgiven and they can't grow as a people and they should probably get therapy and do the work, become a better person. Doesn't mean that you need to stay with them and all that stuff. I know I'm kind of preaching, but that's just, yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's kind of rambly here at the end. Sorry. I've had a very long day and I have to go to a Christmas party after this. So I'm tired, but it's already sunset. I literally woke up this morning when it was still dark outside and I got out of work and the sun's setting. Winter. So much fun. But if you did enjoy this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share, and comment down below your favorite book in this list. If you've read any of them, if you haven't, which ones you may be intimidated by. I would love, love, love to hear from you. And yeah, I will see you all for Bookmas Day 21 tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye.